The phone vibrated against my desk for the third time in 5 minutes. Mum. Again. I let it go to voicemail, just like the other calls, and continued reviewing patient files. The fourth call came exactly 30 seconds later. My name is Milena, and I'm 34 years old. I'm also the responsible one, the fixer, the family ATM. And right now, I knew exactly why my mother was calling. When the fifth call came, I finally picked up. Mum, I'm at work. Your brother needs you. Her voice cracked with that familiar mix of desperation and manipulation that made my stomach clench. He's been arrested again. I closed my eyes, squeezing the bridge of my nose. What did he do this time? That's not important. What's important is that we can save him. There's a private rehab facility in Arizona. No. The word came out sharp, final. Milena, please. They have an opening right now, but we need $60,000 by Friday. Your father and I can scrape together 20... Stop. My hand tightened around the phone. I know where this is going, and the answer is no. That money is for my IVF. A baby can wait. Your brother's life is on the line. I laughed, a hollow sound that surprised even me. Chaz's life has been on the line for 15 years, Mum. Every time it's an emergency. Every time it's my responsibility to fix it. Not anymore. How can you be so selfish? He's your brother. And I'm your daughter. But that never seemed to matter much, did it? The line went quiet for a moment. Then, he wants to talk to you. Before I could protest, Chaz's voice came through, that familiar, charming drawl that had talked his way out of consequences his entire life. Hey, sis. I really messed up this time. You don't say. I know. But this time is different. I'm ready to change. For real. Like you were ready last time, and the time before that. How much of my money have you burned through, Chaz? Come on, Mill. You're really going to choose some hypothetical baby over your own brother? The casual cruelty of his words hit like a slap. I glanced at my desk drawer, where a copy of certain documents had sat for nearly a year, waiting for exactly this moment. Put Mom back on. There was a shuffling sound, then Mom's tearful voice returned. Please, sweetheart. We're family. We have to stick together. I opened my drawer slowly, fingers brushing against the manila envelope. Inside were copies of investment documents I'd discovered during Dad's health scare last year. Documents that proved he'd leveraged their house on high-risk investments without telling Mum. Documents that could blow their whole world apart. You're right, Mum. We are family. And families shouldn't keep secrets from each other, should they? What's that supposed to mean? I pulled out the envelope, studying it. Maybe we should all sit down and have a real conversation. About everything, including Dad's special investment portfolio. The sharp intake of breath on the other end told me she had no idea what I was talking about. Perfect. What investment portfolio? Oh, you don't know about that? Interesting. Maybe we should talk about it over dinner. All of us. Milena, what are you... Because if you're going to demand I give up my dreams again, then I guess we all have something to lose. My hand was steady as I hung up the phone, cutting off her response. The office around me continued its normal bustle, but everything felt different, sharper, clearer. For 15 years, I'd been the good daughter, the responsible one, the backup plan. I'd watched them drain my college fund for Chaz's first rehab, seen them refinance their house 3 times to bail him out, been guilted into lending him money that never came back. But this time was different. This time I had leverage. My phone buzzed again. A text from Chaz. Real nice, sis. Real nice. Mum's crying now. Hope you're happy. I stared at the message, feeling something hard and cold crystallize in my chest. All these years, they'd used my love against me, my sense of duty, my need to be the good daughter, but I wasn't that person anymore. I typed back, dinner tomorrow, 7 p.m, everyone needs to be there. Then I called my friend Amber. Hey, I said when she picked up. Remember when you said I should stop being a doormat? Well, I think I'm about to burn the whole house down. Finally, she replied. Want me to bring matches? I looked at the envelope again, thinking about the bomb I was about to drop on my family. No need. I've got all the fire I need right here. The memory of how I found those documents still burns clear in my mind. It was exactly 1 year ago, during Dad's gallbladder surgery. I'd gone to their house to help Mum sort through medical bills, insurance papers, all the usual chaos. "I just don't understand these statements," Mum had said, pushing a stack of papers across the kitchen table. "Your father usually handles everything." I'd been flipping through routine bills when a different letterhead caught my eye. Golden Crown Investments. The paper was thick, expensive, and the numbers, they made no sense with what I knew about Dad's retirement plan. "I'm going to check Dad's office for the missing insurance forms," I told Mum. She'd barely nodded, lost in her own worry about the surgery. Dad's office was exactly what you'd expect. Leather chair, mahogany desk, everything meticulously organised. The top drawer had been locked, but I'd known since I was 12 where he kept the spare key, taped under his desk drawer. The first file I'd found had made my blood run cold. Investment statements showing hundreds of thousands in high-risk ventures. The second file was worse. Loan documents using their house as collateral. Mum's signature was there, but something looked off about it. I'd taken out my phone, hands shaking, and photographed everything. Now, exactly 1 year later, I sat across from Uriel Rodriguez at Golden Crown Investments, watching him review those same documents. "Yes, I remember you helping your father with paperwork last year," he said, adjusting his glasses. "These investments are concerning." "How concerning?" He leaned forward. "The market's been volatile. These particular ventures your father chose, they're extremely high risk. And using your family home as collateral—" "Without my mother's knowledge," I added. Uriel's eyebrows shot up. "That would be problematic, legally speaking." "How problematic?" He cleared his throat. "Mrs. Stout's signature appears on these documents, but if she can prove she didn't sign them, she doesn't even know these investments exist." I met his eyes. "What's their current status?" Uriel tapped at his keyboard, then grimaced. "Not good. The main portfolio has lost 60% of its value in the last 3 months. If it drops another 10%, it'll trigger an automatic liquidation clause." My heart raced. "And the house?" "Would be first in line for collection." I sat back, letting that sink in. Mum would lose everything, and knowing her, she'd probably still try to bail Chaz out anyway. "There's something else," Uriel said, frowning at his screen. "When you helped file paperwork last year, there seems to have been a clerical error. You're listed as a secondary account holder." "What does that mean?" "It means you have certain rights regarding the account." I leaned forward. "What kind of rights?" "In the event of a liquidation, you could potentially redirect funds, or freeze them." He adjusted his tie nervously. "Of course, I'm not suggesting—" "Could my father remove me from the account?" "Not without your signature. And given the current situation, any changes would trigger an automatic review." I stood up, smoothing my skirt. "Thank you, Uriel. I'd appreciate if we could keep this meeting confidential." He nodded, understanding in his eyes. "Of course. But Milena, these kinds of family situations can get messy. Be careful." Walking to my car, I called Amber. "How'd it go?" she asked. "Remember when I said I was going to burn the house down? Turns out Dad beat me to it. He just doesn't know it yet." "Holy shit. What are you going to do?" I started my car, thinking about tonight's family dinner, about Mum's tears and Chaz's manipulation and Dad's secrets. "I'm going to let karma do its job," I said, "and maybe help it along a little." "You're scary when you're calculating," Amber said. "I love it." My phone buzzed with a text from Mum. "Your father's very upset about what you said. Please don't cause trouble at dinner." I smiled. A cold, sharp thing. Trouble? They had no idea what trouble was, but they were about to find out. "Don't worry, Mum," I texted back. "I just want to have an honest family discussion. No secrets between us, right?" Then I drove to the bank and opened a new account. One only in my name. Because when karma finally came calling, I wanted to make sure I was ready to answer. The smell of Mum's lasagna hit me as soon as I walked through the front door. Classic manipulation tactic. She always made my favourite meal when she wanted something. I was 20 minutes late, just enough to throw off their planned ambush. "There she is," Chaz called from the living room, sprawled on the couch like he owned it. The prodigal sister returns? I ignored him, heading straight to the kitchen where Mum was pulling garlic bread from the oven. Need help? Oh, now you want to help. She slammed the oven door harder than necessary. Where were you 20 minutes ago? Working? You know, that thing some of us do? Dad cleared his throat from the doorway. Let's keep things civil, shall we? I turned to face him, noting how he couldn't quite meet my eyes. Absolutely. I'm all about honesty and open communication these days. He flinched, just slightly, but I caught it. Dinner started quietly enough. Mum had set the table with her good china, another bad sign. She only used these plates when she was trying to guilt us into something. So, Chaz said, shoveling lasagna into his mouth, about that rehab program. Not yet, Mum cut in. Let's just enjoy dinner first. I took a sip of wine. Actually, let's talk about it. How much did you say it costs? 60,000? 65, Dad corrected, then quickly looked down at his plate when Mum shot him a look. Right, and you two can come up with 20? I twirled pasta around my fork. Where's that money coming from, Dad? Your investment portfolio? The clatter of his fork against china echoed through the dining room. What investment portfolio? Mum asked. I took another sip of wine. Oh, you know, the one Dad opened last year, with Golden Crown Investments. Rocky. Mum turned to Dad. What is she talking about? Dad's face had gone pale. It's nothing, just a small retirement account. Small. I pulled out my phone, pretending to check numbers. Last time I checked, 500,000 isn't exactly small. Mum's water glass froze halfway to her mouth. Rocky, what did you do? Now's not the time. Dad started. When is the time? I cut in. When the market drops another 10%? When they come for the house? The house. Mum's voice had gone shrill. What about the house? Chaz looked between us all, finally sensing the shift in power. Hey, come on. We're here to talk about my recovery. Shut up, Chaz, I snapped. For once in your life, this isn't about you. Rocky, Mum's hands were shaking. What did you do with our house? Dad stood up abruptly. Milena, in my office. Now. I followed him, feeling oddly calm. Behind us, I could hear Mom starting to cry and Chaz trying to redirect attention back to himself. Dad closed the office door. How dare you? How dare I what? Tell the truth? You had no right. I had every right. Just like Mom had the right to know you forged her signature on those loan documents. He went very still. You can't prove that? Want to bet? I pulled out my phone. I have copies of everything. The loans, the investments, the losses. Should we go through them with Mum? What do you want? I stepped closer. I want you to stop asking for my IVF money. I want you to stop enabling Chaz. I want you to face what you've done. Or what? Or I send these documents to Mum's lawyer. I'm sure she'd be very interested in knowing her signature was forged. A knock at the door made us both jump. Mum stood there, mascara running down her face. What's going on? Rocky, please, tell me what's happening. Dad looked at me, then at Mum, then back at me. I could see the moment he decided to try one last lie. It's nothing, Val. Just some investments. Show her, I said. Show her everything, or I will. Mum stepped into the office. Show me what? Dad sank into his chair, suddenly looking every bit of his 61 years. Val, sit down. Please. I walked to the door, pausing to look back at them. I'll give you two some privacy. Oh, and Chaz, I called out, knowing he was hovering in the hallway. I'd start looking into state-funded rehab programs if I were you. Something tells me the family bank is about to close. As I walked out, I heard Mum's first shocked gasp as Dad began his confession. It was the sound of a family's foundations cracking, and I had just swung the hammer. The pounding on my apartment door started at 7 a.m. I knew it was Mum before I even checked the peephole. Nobody else would dare show up this early. I know you're in there, Milena. Another series of knocks. Open this door right now. I took a slow sip of coffee before opening up. Mum burst in, still wearing yesterday's clothes, her hair a mess. How long have you known? She demanded. About a year. A year. She paced my living room. You knew for a year that your father was gambling away our future, and you said nothing. Gambling? Is that what he told you? She stopped pacing. He said he was trying to make enough money to help Chaz, to set up some kind of trust fund. I couldn't help but laugh. Of course he did. And you believed him? Don't take that tone with me. I'm still your mother. Really? Because lately it feels like you're just Chaz's enabler who occasionally remembers she has a daughter. Mum sank onto my couch, deflating. That's not fair. No. When's the last time you called me just to talk? Not to ask for money, not to fix some crisis with Chaz? Just to talk to your daughter? She opened her mouth, then closed it. That's what I thought. I sat across from her. Want to see what Dad's really been up to? I pulled out the envelope and handed her the documents. She read through them slowly, her face getting paler with each page. These signatures, she whispered. These aren't mine. I know. He forged. Her hands started shaking. How much has he lost? According to my meeting with Uriel yesterday, about 60% of the initial investment. You met with his investment advisor? I did, and I found out something interesting. I leaned forward. Due to a clerical error when I helped with paperwork last year, I am listed as a secondary account holder. Her head snapped up. What does that mean? It means I have some control over what happens to that money, when, not if, the portfolio crashes. Mum's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then silenced it. Your father's been calling all night, begging me to come home. Are you going to? I stayed at your aunt's. She looked around my apartment, really seeing it for the first time. The nursery. You've already started painting it. I followed her gaze to the half-finished mint green walls of my spare room. The IVF treatments start next month, if I still have the money for them. Milena. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Don't try to guilt me about Chaz again. Not after everything. He's still your brother. And I'm still your daughter. The words exploded out of me. But that never mattered, did it? Every time I needed you, every time I achieved something, it was always overshadowed by whatever drama Chaz was causing. My phone rang. Uriel's number. I answered on speaker. Milena, we need to talk. The market dropped another 5% this morning. Mum went still. How close are we to liquidation? I asked. Very. And there's more. Your father tried to remove you from the account this morning. I smiled coldly. Let me guess. That triggered a review? Yes. The account's frozen pending investigation, especially given the irregularities with the loan documents. What irregularities? Mum cut in. Mrs. Stout? Uriel stammered. It's okay, I said. She knows about the forgery. Ah, yes. Well, given the circumstances, we're obligated to report. No! Mum jumped up. Please, you can't report this. It would ruin him. Like he ruined you? I asked quietly. Mum stared at me, tears streaming down her face. When did you get so cold? When I realised that being warm and loving and supportive only got me used. I turned back to the phone. Thank you, Uriel. Keep me posted. After hanging up, I faced my mother. You have a choice to make, Mum. You can keep protecting them. Dad, Chaz, their lies, their mistakes. Or you can finally stand up for yourself. For once in your life, choose yourself. She walked to the nursery doorway, touching the fresh paint. I always wanted grandchildren, she said softly. I just thought they'd be Chaz's. Well, life's full of surprises, isn't it? She turned back to me. Something new in her eyes. Respect, maybe? Or fear. What are you going to do? I picked up the investment documents. I'm going to let karma do its job. The question is, which side of karma do you want to be on? She grabbed her purse, heading for the door. At the threshold, she paused. I don't know who you are anymore. Yes, you do, I replied. I'm exactly who you and Dad raised me to be. Careful what you wish for. The door clicked shut behind her, and I turned back to my coffee. It had gone cold, but I didn't mind. Some things were worth the chill. You want me to do what? Uriel stared at me across his desk, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Redirect the liquidation funds into a trust under my name. I slid the paperwork toward him. I've already had my lawyer draw up the documents. Milena, this is complicated. No, it's quite simple. I'm a legal account holder. The portfolio is about to crash, and I'm exercising my right to protect those assets. He rubbed his temples. Your father will fight this. Let him. My lawyer says his forgery of Mum's signatures gives us all the leverage we need. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I nearly dropped it when I read the message. Hey stranger, heard Chaz is back in town, and apparently flush with cash. Interesting timing? Violet. I hadn't heard from Chaz's ex in over 2 years, not since their spectacular breakup. This could be useful. Do it, I told Uriel. Set up the trust. Walking to my car, I called Violet back. Well, she answered. The good sister finally grows a spine. What do you know, Violet? Chaz came by my place last night. Drunk, bragging about some inheritance or trust fund he's getting. Said something about your parents signing over the house to him. My blood ran cold. What? Oh yeah, he was waving around some paperwork. Property transfer forms, I think? Said your mum's about to sign everything over to him for safekeeping, while your dad sorts out some financial troubles. I gripped the steering wheel harder. That manipulative little... Want to know the best part? Violet's voice dripped with satisfaction. He left his phone here, passed out drunk. I may have looked through some interesting text messages between him and your dad. I'm listening. Meet me at Carlo's Cafe in an hour. Bring cash. The cafe was nearly empty when I arrived. Violet looked exactly as I remembered. Too much makeup, designer clothes that screamed trying too hard. She slid her phone across the table. Text thread's still open. Read fast before he realizes his phone's missing. The messages made me sick. Dad, your mother can't know about the house transfer. Chaz, obviously. But once it's in my name, we can sell it quick? Dad, yes. Split the money before the investment thing blows up. You'll get your rehab money. Chaz, and Milena? Dad, what she doesn't know won't hurt her. How much do you want? I asked Violet. She smiled. 2 grand. Cash. For screenshots and your silence? Please. I want to watch him burn as much as you do. He owes me way more than money. I sent the screenshots to my lawyer, then called Mum. Are you sitting down? I asked when she answered. What now? Don't sign anything Dad or Chaz puts in front of you, especially not about the house. How did you... They're planning to sell it from under you. I have proof. Check your email in 5 minutes. I ended the call and texted Amber. It's happening. Want to watch the world burn? She replied instantly. Front row seats, please. Wine at your place? That evening, Amber and I sat on my balcony, watching the sunset and waiting for the fallout. Right on schedule, my phone exploded with notifications. First, Mum. I can't believe them. I just can't. I confronted your father. He's gone to stay with your uncle. Then Chaz. You backstabbing bitch. You have no idea what you just did. Finally, Dad. We need to talk. Now. I forwarded everything to my lawyer, then turned off my phone. You okay? Amber asked, refilling my wine glass. You know what's funny? I watched the sun sink below the horizon. I always thought revenge would feel hot, angry, but this feels cold, clean. Like surgery, like justice. My landline rang, the one only Mum had the number to. I let it go to voicemail. Milena? Mum's voice cracked through the speaker. I signed the papers before I saw your email. I'm so sorry. I thought I was helping him. What do I do now? Amber raised an eyebrow. What are you going to do? I picked up my wine glass, studying the deep red liquid. Exactly what I planned. Let it all crash down. Sometimes you have to destroy something completely before you can rebuild it. And your family? I thought about the IVF appointment scheduled for next week, about the nursery waiting to be finished, about 15 years of being the family sacrifice. They stopped being my family the moment they tried to steal my future to save Chaz's past. The landline rang again. This time I unplugged it. Some calls didn't deserve to be answered. The cafe where I met Violet again was empty except for a barista who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. Violet slid into the booth, dropping a manila envelope on the table. You're not going to believe what I found. I pushed a coffee toward her. Try me. She pulled out her phone, playing a recording. Chaz's voice filled the space between us. Dad, it's done. Mum signed everything over this morning. We can list the house next week. Dad's voice replied, Good. The market's dropping faster than expected. We need to move quick. What about Milena? She knows something's up. Let me handle your sister. Just get the realtor lined up. Violet stopped the recording. There's more. They're planning to sell for way under market value. Quick cash, no questions asked. How did you get this? She smirked. Chaz really should learn to delete recordings after his drunk dial sessions. He called your dad while passed out on my couch, forgot to hang up. I saved everything. My phone buzzed. Uriel. The portfolio just dropped another 8%, he said, without preamble. Liquidation's imminent. What do you want me to do? I looked at Violet's envelope. Hold that thought. To Violet. What else do you have? She spread out documents. Photos of text messages, emails, even a half-filled-out real estate listing. Everything you need to blow their plans sky high. I picked up the phone again. Uriel, proceed with the trust transfer. And call my lawyer. She'll want to see this. What are you going to do? Violet asked. I started taking photos of everything. I'm going to show my mother exactly who she's been protecting all these years. An hour later, I stood on Mum's doorstep, watching her face crumple as she listened to the recording. No, she whispered. They wouldn't. They already did. I handed her the real estate listing. They're selling your house out from under you. Tomorrow. She sank onto the couch. I trusted them. Both of them. You always did. That was the problem. Her head snapped up. What's that supposed to mean? It means you've spent my entire life choosing Chaz over everyone else. Even yourself. How's that working out for you? I was trying to save him. No, you were trying to avoid facing reality. And now reality's here with a vengeance. Her phone rang. Dad's ringtone. She stared at it, then at me. Answer it, I said. Put it on speaker. She did. Val, don't listen to Milena. Dad started immediately. She's twisting things. Like you twisted my signature? Mum's voice was ice. Or like you're twisting the knife by selling my house. Silence. Rocky? Nothing to say. Val, please. Save it. I've heard the recordings. Seen the documents. It's over. Recordings? What recordings? I leaned toward the phone. Hey, Dad. Maybe ask Chaz about his drunk dials to Violet. Turns out she's quite the archivist. You vindictive little... Careful, I cut in. Everything you say is being recorded. My lawyer's quite interested in building a case for fraud. The line went dead. Mum looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. What happens now? Now? The investment portfolio crashes, the fraud investigation begins, and you decide what kind of future you want. What about Chaz? I laughed bitterly. Still worried about Chaz? After everything? He's still my son, and I'm still your daughter. But only one of us has been trying to destroy you. My phone buzzed. Uriel again. It's happening, he said. Portfolio's crashing. Your father's trying to access the accounts, but they're frozen. The trust transfer is processing. Good. Send everything to my lawyer. Mum was staring at me. What trust transfer? The money that's left? It's going into a trust. My trust. Legally, cleanly, and completely out of their reach. You planned this whole thing? No, Mum, they planned it. I just made sure Karma had good timing. My phone exploded with texts from Chaz. You think you won? You have no idea what you just started. Hope you're happy being alone because that's all you'll ever be. I showed them to Mum. Still want to defend him? She read them, each word seeming to age her. Finally, she stood up and walked to the door, opening it. Get out. Mum? Just get out. I need to think. I paused at the doorway. When you're done thinking, call my lawyer. She can help you file fraud charges. Against my own family? No, Mum. Against the people who tried to destroy it. I walked out into the evening air, feeling lighter than I had in years. My phone buzzed one more time. Amber. Well? She asked. It's done. The house of cards is falling. And how does it feel? I looked back at my childhood home, at the windows going dark one by one. Like freedom? The call came at 3 a.m. Unknown number. Is this Milena? A tired-sounding nurse. I'm calling from Metro General. Your brother was brought in about an hour ago. Overdose. My hand tightened on the phone. Is he alive? Yes, but he's asking for you. Hospital policy requires we... I'm not coming? Silence, then. He's your brother. Not anymore. I hung up, but sleep wouldn't come. At 7 a.m, Mum called. He could have died, she said, instead of hello. That was always the risk, wasn't it? The one you've been trying to prevent by enabling him? Please come to the hospital. No. Milena, did you know, I cut in, that my IVF appointment is today? The one I've been saving for, planning for, dreaming about. But instead of being excited, I'm fielding calls about Chaz's latest crisis. He's in real trouble this time. He's always in real trouble. That's his specialty. An hour later, I sat in Dr. Pierce's office, trying to focus on his explanation of the IVF process, while my phone buzzed continuously. Everything looks good, he said, reviewing my charts. We can start the hormone treatments next week. My phone buzzed again. Dad, this time? Excuse me, I said, answering. What? The police are here. Dad's voice shook. At the investment firm. They're asking questions about the loan documents. Funny how fraud investigations work, isn't it? This isn't a game, Milena. No, it's not. It's consequences. Remember those? I hung up and turned back to Dr. Pierce. Sorry. Family drama. He smiled kindly. We can reschedule if you need. No. This is my time. My future. I'm not letting them steal this too. Walking out of the clinic, I had 3 more missed calls and a text from Violet. Heads up. Chaz was dealing, not just using. That's why he OD'd. Cops found stuff in his car. I forwarded the text to Mum with one added line. Still want me to come to the hospital? Her reply came quickly. The police are here too. They're asking about the house, the investments, everything. Good. Good? How can you say that? Because it's finally over, Mum. The lies, the covering up, the enabling, it's all crashing down. I drove to Amber's place, needing somewhere safe to process. She opened the door with a bottle of wine already in hand. Your mum called me, she said, trying to get me to convince you to go to the hospital. Of course she did. Chaz is being charged with possession with intent to distribute. Apparently, he was trying to make quick cash to run before the house sale fell through. My phone rang again. Uriel. The trust transfer is complete, he said. And there's something else. The market rebounded slightly. Your portion of the funds actually gained value after the transfer. I laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. Of course it did. Because Karma's not just a bitch. She's an ironic one. The police have requested all documentation related to the loans and investments. Give them everything. Amber poured wine as I scrolled through messages. Mum begging me to help. Dad threatening legal action. Chaz's friends calling me heartless. A new text from Mum. Your father's being charged with fraud. They're saying he could face jail time. Please, we need you. No, I typed back. You need consequences. There's a difference. He's your father. And I'm your daughter. The one who tried to warn you. The one who offered to help you file charges first. The one you ignored. Again. Hours later, Amber and I sat on her balcony, watching the sun set on what felt like the end of an era. Police called again, I said, checking my messages. Chaz is being transferred to a state-run rehab facility after he's discharged. Court ordered. How does it feel? I thought about my appointment earlier, about the nursery waiting at home, about the trust fund now safely in my name. Like watching a forest fire, destructive but necessary. Sometimes things need to burn so new growth can start. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Mum. I filed the fraud charges, against both of them. The detective says I did the right thing. I showed Amber the message. Well, she said, looks like Karma's not done yet. No, I replied, thinking about tomorrow's hormone treatment appointment, about the future I was finally free to build. She's just getting started. I typed back to Mum. You did do the right thing. Finally. Let me know if you need my lawyer's number. Then I turned off my phone and watched the sky turn from orange to purple to black, thinking about forests and fires and fresh starts. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let go and let Karma take the wheel. The nursery walls were finally finished. Perfect mint green, like new leaves in spring. I stood in the doorway, admiring my work when the doorbell rang. Mum stood there, holding a small box. She looked older, tired, but somehow lighter. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside, letting her enter. She walked straight to the nursery, pausing at the threshold. "It's beautiful," she said softly. "The IVF took. First try." She turned to me, eyes wet. "I know. Dr. Pierce is an old friend. He told me when you got the positive test. That's a HIPAA violation. He knew I was paying attention, even if you didn't want me to." I crossed my arms. "Why are you here, Mum?" She held out the box. Inside was a tiny yellow blanket, hand-knitted. "I've been going to therapy," she said, "learning about enabling, codependency, all the things I did wrong." "Good for you. Your father took a plea deal yesterday. 18 months with good behaviour." "I know. My lawyer called?" She touched the blanket softly. "Chaz is doing well in the state programme, better than any private rehab we ever sent him to. Amazing what actual consequences can do. He asks about you." "I don't ask about him." She nodded, accepting this. "I've been thinking about what you said, about choosing Chaz over everyone else, over myself." She met my eyes. "Over you. Little late for that revelation. Maybe, but I'm here now. And I'd like to be here for this too." She gestured at the nursery. "If you'll let me." "As what? The grandmother who helped destroy her family? As the mother who's trying to do better, who's learning, who wants to support her daughter's dreams instead of enabling her son's destruction." My phone buzzed. "Uriel." "The trust gained another 12%, he said. "And the fraud investigation uncovered 3 more accounts your father had hidden. The lawyers are adding them to the case." "Good." "Your mother's lawyer called. She's signing over her portion of the recovered funds to you." I looked at Mum. "Is that true?" She nodded. "It should help with the baby expenses, and it feels right. Balancing the scales a little." "The scales can't be balanced, Mum. Too much has happened." "I know." She placed the blanket on the rocking chair. "But maybe we can build something new instead. Something honest this time." The doorbell rang again. Amber stood there with paint supplies. "Ready to do the clouds on the ceiling?" She stopped short, seeing Mum. "Oh, I can come back." "No," I said. "Stay. Mom was just leaving." "Actually," Mum said, "I was hoping I could help. With the clouds, if that's okay." I looked at her. Really looked at her. The designer clothes were gone, replaced by simple jeans and a sweater. The perfectly coiffed hair now showed grey at the roots. She looked real, present. "You'll get paint on your clothes," I warned. "Good. Time I stopped caring about appearances." Amber raised an eyebrow at me. "You're cool," her look said. I handed Mum a paintbrush. "Clouds are supposed to be soft, gentle. Think you can manage that?" "I'm learning gentle," she said. "Day by day." We worked in silence for a while, creating wispy white clouds across the mint-green sky. Mum's phone buzzed once. She checked it, then turned it off completely. "Chaz?" I asked. "Yes, but he needs to learn to stand on his own, and I need to learn to let him." Later, as Amber left and Mum gathered her things, she paused at the door. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," she said, "or trust, but I'd like to earn them, slowly, properly." "Why now?" She touched my arm gently. "Because I finally realised that while I was so busy saving Chaz, I was losing you, and you were always the strong one, the good one, the one who deserved better." I looked at her hand on my arm, then at the nursery door. "I have a doctor's appointment next week," I said. "Just a checkup. But you could come, if you want." Her eyes filled with tears. "I'd like that." After she left, I stood in the nursery again, looking at the clouds we'd painted. They weren't perfect. Some were too fluffy, others too thin. But together they made a sky. New, different, maybe even better than what I'd planned. I touched my stomach, still flat but holding so much promise. "Your grandmother's trying," I whispered. "And maybe that's all any of us can do. Try to be better. Try to be honest. Try to love without destroying." The yellow blanket caught the evening light, soft and hopeful, like the clouds above. Sometimes karma doesn't just deliver justice. Sometimes she delivers second chances too.